Schlossberg's 28th and 29th exercises on page 7 are an interesting two exercises in that they challenge your range, they challenge your soft to loud playing and loud to soft playing, and they go in inverse directions. I'm going to talk about how I work on these two exercises as a combined unit to set myself up for success in upper register attacks. This is one of the ways that I play these. I think it's a great way to practice these exercises to truly force yourself to start at a piano or minimum. So this exercise, because it starts on the low fundamental and goes to the high fundamental, requires that you balance your embouchure so that you can start low and go high. So some ways to practice this with a metronome, of course, is start in the middle register. So I'm setting myself, I'm anchoring in the middle register. Now, so I'm consistently coming back to this anchor point, which is the middle C, and then I'm building down to the low register and taking my middle register setup with me, so that I'm not going I'm not opening up a lot. I'm trying to keep the same setup. So after you have yourself comfortable getting through that range, then you can extend it to the high C and try to keep the upper note as warm and open as all of the other notes are. Instead of straining up, we're avoiding going. We don't want to push up for the note. We want to stay open and maintain as much of the same setting for our middle C as we can for the high C. So, some ways to incorporate this with. So I'm just spidering here. I'm staying around and anchoring in the middle of the exercise and then spidering outward and adding the upper register. Eventually to where we're able to start on the low C with the same setup. So one way you can practice the exercise to just do it in context and get the right setting is so I set myself for the middle C and then played the exercise. Eventually you'll get to where you can stay in the correct spot for the low C. Now, I combine exercise 28 and 29. I think it's a great way to get a flow immediately following exercise 28. It's good to play them both as separate exercises too, but you go to the upper C, count for 4, make it a big, beautiful resonant C, crescendo through it, and then da, 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 da. And the idea here is you're making sure that your air is staying very free and flowing. And I find it especially challenging to play all the way fully in volume down to the low C and then diminuendo and try and maintain a big and rich sound. Not closing the sound off, but just diminuendoing while maintaining the same timbre. So that sounds like. We're not going. Or. So, we've practiced the exercise by going. especially challenging to take a slight break between the fermata on the high C and then continue with exercise 29. It's challenging either way, but this way you're sort of keeping yourself in a resonant playing position. So and you're actually starting the next exercise almost as if it's its own thing. So this exercise is really great for developing timbre equality, especially as you crescendo. And it uses the entire working range of the trumpet. So doing this on the B-flat trumpet is great because it gets you to high C on B-flat trumpet, but then you also wind up playing a low F sharp in the context of this exercise. And that can be really challenging, especially for those of us who are more comfortable sitting in the upper register to wind up playing big and full and loud in the upper register and then still having to, in the series of this exercise, get down to F sharp or F if you want to continue down to there, can be quite challenging. If you do exercise 29 on its own, be sure you're starting with the air already in motion and don't allow yourself to attack the note too much. You want it to be da, 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 not da. We're avoiding you don't want to just smash the note. You want to really try and imagine that you're playing in context. I like to imagine myself in this situation. It's great to imagine that you're having to play with something at the front of an orchestra or with an ensemble member somewhere else. Imagine you're sitting there and you're resting and you're counting and you're watching, say, a first violin move the bow, and then you have to come in for this big grandiose entrance. It's a great way to give yourself a visual to help accompany this. So you're not just sort of like holding up here and you're thinking, okay, well, I got this G to C exercise. You don't wind up kind of going like, you're not tensing for it. You're already in motion. So that winding up in context, you have this great comfort with the loud volume and the flow that's coming through it. Hope this helps somebody. Schlossberg is a fantastic book. All of the exercises on page 6 and 7 are extraordinarily valuable when played well. And I encourage everybody to explore these exercises. I hope that something that I mentioned in here can help somebody, and I hope you have a great day.